Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to Abby and the Reads. Today we are going to be going through my summer reading / July TBR. The only book on this list that is not a very summery read is considered a lit RPG, and I'm just really intrigued by this book, even though it is not my go-to type of reading. So I'm excited to get into that book, and you can probably already guess what it is, but we'll get into that later. All right, you are going to probably sense a theme here with these books. Most of these books are romance books. That is just what gives me summer vibes. That may not be what gives everybody else summer vibes. That and thriller books are what give me summer vibes. But I'm a summer-ween stan. I love reading a thriller book in the summer. Don't ask me why, but I do. But other than that, if I'm not reading a thriller, you're probably going to catch me reading a romance. But the first book on my list is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And you can hear it in the title. It's going to be very summary. But the synopsis of this story is there are two people who think that they're cursed. These people, when they date somebody and break up, those people that they're dating go on to find other people that are their soulmates. But these people, the main characters, are stuck. So they think that if they date each other, that they are going to find their soulmates after dating each other. And I think eventually they become love interests with each other. And that just sounds like a silly, goofy time for me. I love that synopsis. It sounds very unique to me. So I am really excited to read this book. The next book on this list is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have read one other Emily Henry book, and it was People We Meet on Vacation, and I loved that book so much. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. I can't remember if it was 4 or 5, but I mainly read that book because I wanted to watch the show. But now that I've read one Emily Henry, you will not be stopping me from reading another one. I just enjoyed it that much. I don't know if she'll be an auto-author for me. We'll see after we read these next books, but it just sounds like a fun time. This was recommended to me on TikTok, but Funny Story by Emily Henry. It follows, guys, so I've tried about 20 times to explain to you, which you didn't see, but to explain what Funny Story is about. I have not been able to get it out, so I'm just going to read to you what Goodreads says Funny Story is about, because it sounds like a good time. And it sounds like a premise that I personally have never read before, so I'm really excited to get into it. But it says, Daphne always loved the way that her fiance, Peter, told their story, how they met on a blustery day, fell in love over an errant hat, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He really was good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra, which is how Daphne begins her new story, stranded in beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Nowak. So, if that doesn't sound like a good time to you, I don't know what does, but that just sounds like it's going to get messy really quickly. I imagine that her and Miles, who else could be the love interest, but apparently they are all definitely opposites, so that is really exciting. All right, the next book on my list is not a book that I would normally gravitate towards, but it's on Netflix as a movie, and I typically like to read the books first before I watch the movies, and this is just a movie that I'm wanting to watch, so I think I would like to read the book first, which is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It is a exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope, tracing a widow's unlikely connection to a giant Pacific octopus, which sounds crazy to me, but there are so many people out there that like this book that I just think it would be so fun to read and so fun to watch, and it just seems like it would be so heartfelt that I just want to read this book really badly. I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm actually going to like this book or not, but it just intrigued me enough that I want to try it out. I think it is considered a literary fiction, which is not something that I typically gravitate towards, but like I said, it just intrigued me enough that I want to try it out, and I think that it just sounds very summery, and summer is the best time to be reading this book. This book is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I just read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and I gave that book 4 stars. I loved that book. That the first book, Every Summer After, follows Sam and the Persephone, the main character, and their love story over time, how they fell in love from kids growing up. It's a second chance romance. It's a really beautiful story. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend reading it. But this next book follows Sam's older brother, Charlie, which he comes across as a playboy, and it's kind of his redemption story, and how he falls in love with, I believe the main character's name is Alice, but I think from what I have understood, he is a sad boy. He is very, maybe not traumatized, but he has some trauma, and it explores that in this book, and I love the first book so much. I think that I will be really excited for the next book. Plus, Carly Fortune, in the first book, it is in Barry's Bay, which is by the lake in Canada somewhere. Not Toronto, but it's in Barry's Bay, Canada. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's somewhere up there. But it's just by the lake, and it's just a good summer fun time, and I am definitely going to be reading this book. We have got a double author on this list. The next book is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Beach Read follows August and January, who are opposite authors. One of them writes horror, mystery, thriller, kills off their cast kind of stories, and the other writes rom-coms, and over the summer they are neighboring in beach houses, and they're both have writer's block, so they have challenged each other to switch. They are August is going to write a rom-com, a very happy, lovey story, and August is going to be interviewing people from a cult, or survivors from a cult, and they're going to be, it's about them and their love story and how they get through their writer's block and everything like that. But it just sounds, again, a premise so unique to me, and it just sounds like it's going to be a fun time. Like I said, I love thriller books. I love rom-coms in the summer. This sounds like it's going to be a rom-com book, but it's got a little bit of thriller horror in it, so it sounds like it's going to be right up my alley. We have made it to the one lit RPG book on my list, and again, this is another book that it is just not something that I typically gravitate towards, but everybody, and I mean everybody, has been raving about this book that I am so excited to read it. I just want to try it out, and that is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. Essentially, this book follows Carl, who goes outside to rescue his ex-girlfriend's cat, and when he goes outside, the world is taken over by aliens. All of the people that are inside the buildings go completely kaput, and then all of a sudden, everybody who was outside starts to hear this voice in their head that says, "You have got to make it underground to start these trials, or you will die." And then these trials that are underground, the entire universe is watching them, and it's like final bosses and mega bosses, and Carl and the cat Princess Donut have got to fight off these people and survive, and it just sounds like a video game, and it sounds so fun. I'm not typically much on video games, but it just sounds like a fun time. Like, how could that not sound like a cool, interesting premise to somebody? I don't know, but I'm just really excited to read this book. Alright, the next book on the list is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book follows Clementine, who goes to live in her late aunt's apartment, and when she goes to live in her late aunt's apartment, she finds a man standing in her kitchen who just so happens to actually live 7 years in the past, and it is their love story about how they fall in love and how they have to get over the challenge of falling in love because one of them lives in the past and one of them lives in the present. And it just sounds so romantic, and it sounds heartbreaking, and it sounds like it's going to be it's going to be a loving time. And I'm so excited to read this book. I've heard nothing but good things about the 7 Year Slip. Everybody that I've watched, I can't think of their names, but I watch a lot of people on YouTube. But everyone that I've watched on YouTube that has read this book has liked it, has given it like 4-ish stars. So I'm excited to read it. The next book on my list is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. It is about Anna and Liam. Liam and Anna got married for student housing in college. And they think as soon as college is over, they can get divorced and be on their merry ways separately. But Liam is trying to get inheritance from his grandfather, and there is a clause that says if Liam is not married for about 5 years, he is not going to get that inheritance. And it just so happens that he did not divorce Anna after they graduated college, so he has to go and find her again and convince her to help him get this inheritance. And he's also afraid to introduce her to his 1% family, and it sounds like a cool premise. I believe this takes place on an island, so perfect for whenever I go on vacation. It just sounds so fun. It's so exciting, so inviting. It's such a summer read. And last but not least is Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. This follows a professional bull rider who has to go on this dating show in order to save his family farm, and it follows him while he goes on this dating show, and that just sounds like such a fun time. I have loved Elsie Silver every time that I've read her. I have not completed the Chestnut Springs series yet, but I will be doing that. Is some other books that could potentially, I am a mood reader, so these are all books that are potential on my TBR. These are books I would love to get to, but if I don't get to them, that's fine. If I get to other books, that's fine too, but these are potential on my TBR. This is very ambitious for me anyways, because like I've said before, I'm a working mom of 2. I am not gonna make it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no way I'm gonna read 9 books in the month of July. This is probably better off to be a July and August TBR. I don't know where I was going with that, but that is every book that is on my July TBR list, or should we say July and August TBR, or summer reading. Let's just wrap it as summer reading TBR. I am so excited to get to all of these books. Like I said just a minute ago, I am a mood reader, so I probably won't be getting to all these books, but these are the books that would be top priority for me over the summer, the ones that just sound to me like they're going to be a fun summertime. But that is everything that I wanted to share with you guys today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day.